What is an adult problem you were not prepared for? The utter soul-crushing search for a job. Same. I was out of work 4 years due to severe illness. Then spent 8 months looking for any job possible, but getting rejected every time. I finally got 2 interviews lined up in April, then coronavirus hit, and they got cancelled. I cannot catch a break. It's entirely possible to lose your job through no fault of your own. Losing people. Loved ones passing away is the hardest. Then there's the nasty breakdown of personal relationships, family relationships and friendships. Then there's the sad drifting apart that happens when life takes you on a different path to a person you were once really close to. Realizing that not even your parents have all the answers. And finally understanding that they were just figuring it out as they went, just like we are. Not having an all-knowing figure to give you the answers to all your problems is the pits, and I hate it. Edit. Just wanted to add that I agree, figuring stuff out for yourself is rewarding and fun. But some things you really don't want to figure out for yourself, or can't figure out. And for those things it's nice to have someone to point you in the right direction. Edit. Holy upvotes Batman. 3k. I think this might be my most upvoted comment. The endless teeny tiny implications of adult freedom. You have your own medical insurance plan now. You need to pick a primary care physician. Okay, who should I pick? Up to you. But like, where should I start? How do I know which doctor to choose? Up to you. How do other people find one? They just pick the one they like. I don't know any of these doctors. I felt like this when I got hired and had to choose withholdings for taxes and what health insurance to choose. No freaking guidance whatsoever. Not being able to leave a job you hate because you might just become homeless without it. Being able to not cook the same meal every day while balancing hundreds of other tasks. I will always admire my mom for how she was able to cook, have a clean house, work 43 hours, and help her children do homework, all while taking time to work out at the end of every day. I could mention other common problems like money management and common tasks that I haven't mastered. But what really hit me like a train was the actual transition of adulthood. Him talking about having to make my own appointments and having to keep tabs on myself instead of handing every single document to my mom. I realized how unorganized I was when I found my birth certificate in the same drawer where I have junk receipts. I realized how unorganized I was when I found my birth certificate in the same drawer where I have junk receipts. Hi. I'd like to return this. I know he's 30 years past the return date. Can I speak to the manager? Having to institute a complete body hair management program. Ears, eyebrows, nose, chest, balls, losing it the only place I want, head. For the first time ever, a few months ago my barber said, "Mate, you want me to do something about these eyebrows?" Same. About a year ago. It feels like being offered a breath mint. Pain. Arthritis is peeping horrible, and early onset autoimmune arthritis is worse than just having an ache in one or two joints. I hurt all the time. Everywhere. And everyone just assumes you're faking it, or you're a pill popper. I'm not going to live another 20 years with this pain like my dad did. And the worst part is, when people say you're too young to have arthritis. Yep, I agree. I'm way too young to have this speep. Still got it though. I don't have arthritis, but I do have other issues that I end up having to use a cane for sometimes at 28 years old, and I get that you're too young for that a lot. It drives me up a wall. Like, thanks, you've cured me. I hadn't considered I may be too young for this. If only I'd known it was that easy. I get you're too young for that. All the time. I have cancer. Dealing with your parents acting like children. My parents have always acted like children. However, as a child I was blind to this. Now as an adult I realize how immature and lost my parents actually are. I realized my mom, I'm an only child, was just a big kid herself 20 years ago. What shocks me is that almost everyone's parents become younger when they don't have kids to raise. This includes myself. My mom's a woman child now. and has been for as long as I've been actively aware of her general behavior. Not being able to sleep due to stress. Yet here I lay, exhausted but wide awake. When I was younger I could sleep anytime, anywhere. Pro tip: if you don't fall asleep within 30 minutes, get out of bed. Otherwise you'll associate your bed with lying awake. Furthermore, you could actually do something. You're gonna be tired tomorrow anyway, so why not do the dishes, clean the toilet, or organize your living room? Just any small task for 15 to 30 minutes. You'll feel good because you did it. Your bed cools down. So when you get in you have something to be proud of, and your bed is cool. This has helped me many times. I've also walked a lot in the middle of the night. Lying awake sucks big time, especially because of stress. But making your home a better place by cleaning and organizing helps a lot. Edit: avoid screens. Edit 2: to those now lying in bed for way too long, just get out of it. Eat something healthy. Clean your desk or the kitchen counter, or give your dying plants some water. Take a small break from lying awake, and try again in 30 minutes. Not too long ago I was waking up at 2:00 AM and just laying there for 2 hours tossing and turning thinking about all the world's problems. So I decided to outsmart my own brain. When that happened I vowed to get out of bed and go run. Which I know from experience I hate doing. So my brain learned that if I was going to wake up at 2:00 it was going to have to go running. And eventually, not wanting to do that, I quit waking up at 2:00 AM. Going from having tons of friends to really having no one. Even the few you have, if they get married and start popping out kids before you. It. I was a groomsman at my buddy's wedding and haven't seen him face to face in 2 years. First kid. Back to college for his master's degree. House renovations have all kept him on lockdown. And now quarantine, right when he finished his degree. Man, you really have to work at friendships in adulthood. I've got 3 proper friends left from school. 2 of them. My girlfriend is really friendly with their wives, so we meet up with all of us. The third dude, excluding his stag do and wedding, I've only seen him 3 times in the last 3 years. Thankfully we met up just before lockdown started. The best friends in life you can not see for ages, but when you meet up it's like you only just saw them the week before. Geez. I feel lucky in this respect, because my core group of friends are unmarried, or in one case, divorced and childless. And we all share the same hobby: board games. Most of us are in long-term relationships. Before quarantine, we had a weekly game night. We've been trying to make it work with online games and Zoom meetings. Having a presentable place, and debating myself on why it matters. It always frustrated me when my parents had a guest over and we had to deep clean the whole house. Like, if it's my close friend of 8 years visiting, why do I care what they care about my cleanliness? And yet, every time people are over I find myself cleaning the apartment up for some reason. First thing you say is excuse the mess. How often you have to clean to maintain a clean house? Not only clean, maintenance in general. I just found spot of mold in my garage and have to pull out what feels like half a wall. My husband just pointed out tonight that we have a damn vine growing through a window and is now attached to the living room ceiling. It's an old house, but what the hell? Yeah, definitely kill that thing at the root before it damages more wall. I have the same problem living in a crumbling old house. The problems never stop. Back hurting just from sleeping wrong. And from sitting wrong. And from doing housework and yard work. And from picking up dogs or kids. Or whatever life requires. Never reach for anything in the back seat. Especially if it is just a little bit further. Oof. I'm only 28, but I've already recognized this several times. I swear I've pulled more than muscles though. I must have rearranged my organs at least once or twice. How expensive living is. I worked all through high school, but my only bill was the gas I put in my car. 30 hours a week on minimum wage goes a long way on shopping sprees and nail salons when you don't have any other expenses. I developed nasty spending habits. Not the value of a hard-earned dollar my parents were hoping for. I'm not in crippling debt or anything. But sometimes having to spend money on groceries or utilities depresses me more than it rationally should. Yeah. When you're in high school, having a few $100s makes you feel loaded. You can buy whatever game you want and do whatever with friends, but as an adult hundreds of dollars is just enough to buy groceries and gas. The constant obsessive feeling that I'm fast running out of time to have an enjoyable life, even though I'm only in my 20s. I'm 40. That feeling is real, and you should listen to it. Do it now. You might not get the chance later. My great-grandmother said that she and my great-grandfather promised they would always take a cruise around the world after they retired. It never happened because life got in the way. But they could have done it when they were younger. Don't ruin yourself financially, but if you can do that crazy thing you always wanted to do, go do it. Make it happen. Edit. Let me be clear. Don't run off and put yourself in a bad situation. But if you can stretch yourself and spend a year overseas or build that car or live in that place, do it. Don't put yourself in 100,000 of debt you can't afford to have a good time. That's the opposite of what everyone else says. So much advice about not making rash decisions in your 20s. Focusing on your career and settling down. There's a balance. But life is so long. I want to do that in my 30s. If you're never making rash decisions in your 20s, do it more. If you're always making rash decisions in your 20s, do it less. How many adults I actually dislike. When I was younger, I thought my parents liked all our neighbors, all my teachers, all my coaches, etc. I've since found out that they thought most people were like I do. This right here. I'm amazed how lonely being an adult actually can be. After cutting out all the toxic people from my earlier years of life, I'm very lonely now.